Start the live stream, please, for the Angus Licensing Board.
Good morning, everyone. You're very welcome to this hybrid meeting of the Angus Licensing Board. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind all members attending remotely that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I'd like to remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking, unless they wish to speak, and they should do so by raising their hands remotely. Can I also remind remote members attending hybrid meetings where quasi-judicial matters are being considered that they are not permitted to participate by audio only and must have their video and camera functions switched on at all times. Just before we get into the agenda, under Standing Order 10, I would ask for the board's permission to just rearrange the order of the agenda, where I'd like to move item number 5 straight up to the top of the agenda. Is everyone happy for me to do that? Good, thank you. So in that case, we'll start with item number 1, which are apologies for absence.
Yes, Convener, there's apologies from Councillors Louise Nicholl, Councillor Gavin Nicholl and Councillor Jill Scott. The rest of the members are in the chamber and Councillor Durno is online.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 2, declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Are there any from members? I see no hands. In that case, moving on to item number 3, minutes of the previous meeting. Are these agreed as a correct record?
Indeed.
Thank you. In that case, we shall move on to item number 5, which is the premises licences under the Licensing Scotland Act 2005 licence review proposals. And I also ask Mr McQueen from Legal to give us an update on this one, please.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Members will recall effectively this is an annual report that we bring where premises licence holders have not complied with one of the conditions to pay their annual licence fee. And what we are doing is inviting board members to consider whether they should convene a premises review hearing for those. In the appendix, you'll see there was a large number of premises at that point. Business Support and Kevin, the LSO, have done a fair whack of work in between times in contacting them, encouraging payment, and I will give you an update now. The significant reduction in the number of premises, the current outstanding balance has been reduced to £11,619, and I will just go through the individual premises now, just so you know which ones remain outstanding, because that's what we're considering today. So it's the Pageant in Arbroath, Kerrymore Tavern, Kerrymuir, the Victoria Bar, Forfar, Rood's Bar, Kerrymuir, Giddy Goose, Forfar, Woodville Inn, Kerrymuir, Andrew's Bistro, Arbroath, Bob's Bar, Montrose, the Commercial Hotel, Newtile, Kinloch Arms Hotel, Carnoustie, Brechin Arms, Brechin, Forfar Golf Range and Forfar, the Northern Vaults, Montrose, Hillside Shop and Post Office, which is outside Montrose, I understand, Corners Newsmarket, Carnoustie, Arbroath Bowling Club, Arbroath, the Royal British Legion, Arbroath, Strathmore Cricket Club, Forfar, Glenesk Hotel, Edsel, Forfar Golf Club, Forfar, Wellbank Village Hall, Wellbank, the Drovers Inn, Forfar, the Railway Inn, Freecombe, the Milton Hotel, Monifieth, Monifieth Farm, Coast in Arbroath, Rupali Palace, Forfar, Shotts Pool and Snooker Club, Arbroath, Ashgrove Mini Market, Monifieth, Maxibel Limited, Carnoustie, the Lorne Bar, Arbroath, the Attic Club, Kerrymuir, Copper Oven, Arbroath, Chilies of Carnoustie, Redcastle Brewery and Distillery, Arbroath, Grill 21, Arbroath, Keskowith, Arbroath, Bowman's Coffee House, Monifieth, Petrol Filling Station, Convenience Store, Montrose, Angus Grill and Larder, it's easy for me to say, Brechin, 180 East High Street, Forfar and San Diego, Arbroath. So those are the only ones that we're considering this morning out of the list.
Thank you, Mr McQueen. When I did the pre-agenda, there was a few that I'd already picked out. I suggested that perhaps we're no longer trading. And I suspect that some members will have picked out 1 or 2 from their own wards where they maybe suspect that that may be the case. I can assure you that LSO and Business Support are working their way around all of the ones to see whether they are still trading and if they aren't, then go from there. So from that point, if there are any questions from members, so Councillor Whiteside and Councillor Braze.
Yeah, that was just a very quick run through of the outstanding ones. Could you just confirm how many are still outstanding for us, please?
There's 41 premises.
Thank you. Councillor Braze?
Well, Bob's Bar in Montrose, it doesn't operate as a bar now, it's a cafe. But officers will see to that.
Thank you. Any other questions from members? Councillor Clark and Councillor Speed.
Thank you, Convener, and good morning, everybody. I just wondered, just in general terms, Kevin, really, what's the normal reason, and I suppose, that people would give? I think we've asked this before, and there would be various times, there was various things, but just wondered if there's a theme, there's a stream going through here.
Yeah, I can't really answer that. It's for various reasons throughout the year. I mean, some people don't get the correspondence. I mean, I've been out to a few places where I haven't received the correspondence, but that's on them not updating their address to us as opposed to chasing them up. So, I mean, that's quite a common one. But yeah, oversight. It could be anything.
Thank you.
Councillor Speed.
Sorry, good morning, thank you. Yeah, I was just going to check and just clarify that, yeah, you do check up, you do give like reminders and follow-ups. Are those reminders and follow-ups issued to everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. There's statutory reminders sent out by mail to the registered address. There's follow-up phone calls, voicemails left. What I should emphasise, though, is it's a mandatory condition of the licence, so the licence holders are obliged to comply with them. So the onus is on them to make sure they comply. We do the statutory reminders, though.
Thank you. Councillor Braze.
Yes, thanks, Convener. I think I raised, whether it was last year or not, do licensees have the ability to pay their licence dues by direct debit or standing order, and do they have the ability to pay it in that manner monthly, like all the other accounts that they tend to pay?
At present, my understanding is no, that facility is not available.
Well, then I would ask if the convener could maybe facilitate some conversation at some point on whether we would like to do something that makes it easier for small businesses, these are small businesses, to pay their bills on time.
Thank you, Councillor. Yeah, for every year that I've sat on this board since 22, we've had the same discussions around this, and there seem to be the same repeat offenders year after year after year. So yes, that's certainly something I'll look to see if we can facilitate that. That would sit with the finance team, so I'll speak to Mr. Lorimer and see what can be done, because every single year, as I've said, then we're going through the same thing. Councillor Whiteside.
Yeah, I mean, I think setting up direct debit is more onerous for the staff. However, if people have got the ability to pay by BACS transfer, they could set up their own standing order. They can you organise that yourself through the bank. So there's nothing to stop people doing that, presumably.
Councillor Meehan.
Thank you, Convener. It feels like a bit of deja vu. As you've already said, every year we come along here and there's this long list of businesses that haven't paid their licence. And like Stuart says, this is a legal condition of having the licence. I mean, we've talked about, payment methods and, reminders, and of course they get the statutory reminders. Personally, I think this has taken annually a lot of time of the committee. I don't have an answer to it, apart from that if I had a business and to run that business, I needed to pay a licence fee, then I would be paying it. I mean, although there's we can remind people, and we do, the responsibilities on the business to make sure this. Because effectively, if you don't pay the licence, then your premises can't open, effectively. I mean, with that, I don't know whether it's worth wasting any more time on this. I think we should just move to a hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further comments from members? So looking at the recommendation, Councillor Durno?
Yes. Sorry, convener. I think some of the problems we have is the fact that some of the licence holders are subletting out their businesses, and you've got tenants sitting there saying that the licence holder is the person that pays for the licence, because there is one restaurant in here I noticed from last year that we talked to him about, and it was to do with the person that owned the building and was the licence holder, and it's maybe them that's not paying the bills, and the person that's actually running the place has no idea that they're not paying for it. So I think it does need a bit of investigation, and there is a few of them in our road that are actually closed down as well. So it's a lot of work for Kevin, understand that.
Thanks, Councillor Durno. I think, as Stuart McQueen had pointed out, that the onus is on the licence holder. It is a standard condition of the licence that is paid. If a business is rented out, then I would presume that it would be the person who's renting said business to check with whoever it is they're renting from that these bills are paid, because it would directly affect their ability to trade. Any other comments from members or any recommendations, or anyone would like to put anything forward? Councillor Meekin, you suggested we go straight to a hearing. Do you have a seconder for that proposal? To fix a review hearing. So the next meeting of the board is the 4th of December. Would we members be happy to go with that? Is that agreed then?
Do you just want to go through the just recommendations, all the recommendations?
Okay. So just to clarify for members, our recommendations that are before us are 1.1a, to review the premises licence review proposal in respect of each of those premises detailed in the attached appendix. 2, to specify the ground to be contained.
The amended appendix that I've just read out, not the attached one.
Right.
Because I've updated the number.
So that's it.
Just to confirm.
So just to confirm, that's the updated list from Mr McQueen, which he has there. 2, to specify the ground to be contained within premises licence review proposal is that one or more of the conditions to which premises licence subject has been breached, and that the condition alleged to have been breached in the licence holder detailed in the attached appendix has failed their annual fee. So again, that refers to the appendix from Mr McQueen. 3, to fix a hearing review date in respect of each of the proposals within 42 days of the decision to make the premises licence review proposal, and 4, to agree that any review hearing be cancelled should the outstanding fees be paid prior to the hearing. So I'm looking for motions. Councillor Meekin. Yep, happy with that. So that'll be the 4th of December and agree to those conditions. Yes. Yep, we're in agreement. Okay, thank you. It's always a bit of a complicated one, that one. So we will move back on to the next item, which is the premises licences request to vary under the Licensing Act 2005. This is report number LB 4325, and we will start with the Lorne Bar, 17 Commerce Street, Arbroath, and we have Mr Brian Toner and Mr Mark James Painter here. So when you're ready, if you would just like to...
Is that right? Is that on?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm one of the directors of the Lorne Bar, and from the last meeting of last month, there was a slight communication problem with a management plan with the decibel and volume for the entertainment's licence. However, just to update the licensing board, that we submitted a new decibel and volumes recording management last Thursday and Friday to the licensing board. I just want to see what the update was, please.
Okay, so we'll move to our licensing standards officer for his update.
Yeah, thank you, Convener. I've not actually seen that updated plan. I think ACP would probably be best advising on that.
Thank you. If we can move to building standards then. Or to Louise, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Louise Manson from Environmental and Consumer Protection. We were passed the submission of the noise management plan for the premises. It lacks the detail of the decibel levels. It doesn't go quite as far as required. It states reference to a level, but not a specific level. I would encourage the applicant to speak with the local environmental health officer to confirm the detail required in the report.
Okay, thank you. Are you still in objection to the licence from ECP?
Yes, unfortunately in the current format we're unable to accept the management plan that has been submitted.
Thank you. Are there any members? Mr. Councillor Meakin.
Yeah, again, I think déjà vu comes to mind. This is possibly the third time we've actually heard this application. It seems to be to me to be a fairly simple matter. I mean, maybe Louise Manson can keep me right that what needs to happen here is that the applicant needs to talk to the right people to get this correct. To keep pushing this forward and pushing it forward seems folly to me. I mean, it should be fairly simple. Could I ask the question maybe of legal? If we were minded, could we recommend or could we agree the licence with conditions that environmental health are happy with whatever comes next, rather than more hearings? Is that a possibility?
I suppose I'll answer your second part first. There can't be further hearings. This is the third time. You're quite correct. And at the last one, I indicated that we were beyond the statutory timescale, but there was a bit of discretion, and that discretion has been applied to allow this hearing, so further hearings could not take place. It needs to be determined today. In terms of additional conditions, certainly it's within the board's gift to determine whether they wish to. Remember, we're talking about purely about the variation here, not about the full licence. To apply additional conditions to that, I think we'd need to consider carefully the wording of those conditions so it's clear, enforceable, and the applicant knows exactly what is required.
Just to come back on that then, maybe a bit of guidance on if there was no decision today, would it be granted by default?
You don't have the luxury of no decision, I'm afraid, Councillor. You have to decide today one way or another.
Thank you. Any other questions from members? Councillor Whiteside?
Yes, so it's possible perhaps to say we grant the licence under the condition that the noise management plan is satisfactory, it's received and satisfactory, and until that point live music is not permitted. Is that an option or not?
I'll refer to legal for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely within your gift. I would perhaps suggest that we need to consider carefully the wording of that, if that's what you're minded to do, and it may be that we need to have a discussion.
Thank you.
To the end of the roll or whatever.
A question myself for Mr McQueen then. If we were minded as a board to refuse the licence, well, to refuse the variation, is there anything to stop the applicant coming back immediately with a new application?
No, I'm not aware of any prohibition in terms of the timescales for that. I think within the application they need to declare that similar variation has been refused, but obviously be brought back before this board anyway, so you'd be aware of that. But I don't think there is any prohibition on that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Any comments from members? No. In that case, I shall ask the applicant if they'd like to sum up for their application, if you choose to, if you want to.
It seems to me on the decibel and volume side of it in the management plan, it's a fine line. I've not seen any directive to say how short we are on the decibel and the volume, etc. And I have not seen an outline plan that we've got to abide by in the management plan. It seems from our side it's very vague. We've done the decibel, we've done the volume, we've put a detailed management plan in, but it's not acceptable, which I understand from the licensing board, but I don't know where I go from here. Where do I find that information to complete what you're asking for? Is it on the licensing board website or?
So I'm being advised that Louise is going to come in and answer that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I can perhaps provide some direction. Yes, the original comments were provided by Environmental Health about the requirement for the noise management plan. Therefore, if you contact the local environmental health officer, they will be able to provide the additional detail to progress this.
Okay, I understand that. Okay. So where do we stand now? Is the licensing for the entertainment license on hold again, or?
So at this moment in time, because this is the third and final opportunity that we have, as legal pointed out. So unfortunately, now's not the time for any further questions from yourself.
Okay.
I'm afraid it's your opportunity to sum up on your license. There'll be no further questions from members. We'll now move on. If you're finished, we'll move on to make a decision as to what's about to happen.
Okay.
So is there anything else you'd like to say in support of your application to sum up?
No, that was just my point on the information gathered to complete this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'll look to the members. Councillor Whiteside.
Yeah, can I go ahead and ask for a recess so that we can discuss this properly and get the wording correct if necessary?
If you choose, yeah, how long do you feel that you would need? 5 minutes? Okay, I'll grant a 5-minute recess then.
Could you pause? Board.
Okay, thank you much for everyone's patience there. So we're going back to the recommendations, and I'd ask if any members have anything that they would like to put forward. Motions.
Yes.
Councillor Meehan?
I would move that we grant the licence with conditions relating to playing live music in the form of words that we have.
Okay, do you have a seconder for that? Councillor Speed, are you seconding that motion? Okay. Any variations of that? Councillor Whiteside?
I propose that we refuse it on the basis that we've dealt with this issue 3 times, it's not been resolved, and we haven't had a satisfactory noise management plan.
Okay, so specific to the grounds of refusal, which are on sections 4.4, are you referring to B, that the licensing board considers that granting of that application would be inconsistent with one or more of the licensing objectives?
Yes, public nuisance specifically.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Clark. So we have 2 motions, so we'll have to go to a vote, so we'll just let Fiona catch up and then we'll go to that.
I should have been on that one there. So, we're dealing with a variation application for the Lawn Bar 17 Commerce Street, Arbroath. And we have a motion moved by Councillor Meehan, seconded by Councillor Speed. Is to grant the licence subject to a condition, which I'm going to ask Mr McQueen to read out, regarding the noise management plan. So the condition would be, Stuart?
The condition, if members are agreeable, would be that no live performances are permitted until such time as a noise management plan is approved by Environmental Health.
There is an amendment moved by Councillor Whiteside, seconded by Councillor Clark, that we refuse the application as it is inconsistent with the licensing conditions are detailed in the report and doesn't meet, there's been no noise management, satisfactory noise management plan received. So if members vote for motion or amendment. Convener?
Amendment.
Councillor Brace?
Amendment.
Councillor Clark?
Amendment. Sorry. Amendment.
Councillor Durno?
Motion.
Councillor Meehan?
Motion.
Councillor Speed?
Motion.
And Councillor Whiteside.
Amendment.
So that's 3 for the motion and 4 for the amendment. Therefore, the application is refused.
Thank you. So as you've heard there, your variation application has been refused. I would strongly recommend that you get in touch with ECP, Environmental Control, and speak with them. And before you put forward a further application, make sure that you're absolutely 100% on what it is that's being asked of you and all the things that you need to have in place. But again, speak to ECP, they'll be able to advise you and help you with that, so that when your application, should you choose to put one forward again, hopefully goes through on the first time. Okay, thank you. So we will now move on to item number. Oh yes, sorry. We're moving on to Alchemy, Angus Alchemy from Woodside Carnoustie, and here we've got Martin and also Stephen Forsyth attending. So I'll just give you a minute to take your seats.
Good morning.
Good morning, thank you. If you would like to speak to the board in support of your application, that'd be great. Just make sure you turn on the microphone so everyone online can hear you as well. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. I'd move the variation application today. The variation seeks to add live music and to increase the occupancy to 45. We're essentially dealing with the Angus Alchemy micro distillery. Current capacity is set at 18 within in the brewery. I think within the application there is sort of plans and whatnot submitted. I have seen that there was a letter issued by the Licensing Department with some queries about the application, and perhaps I can just address them. So the first query regarding the occupancy capacity within the distillery. At present, the public area is within the entrance area only. It's essentially one large room with sort of distilling part, the sort of entrance areas you come in where the sort of tastings and whatnot are hosted. There's distilling areas up the back and other parts around the room. Essentially the plan, or the first query rather, is of course quite legitimate. Is what is the rationale for the increased capacity? Essentially, that is really a rejigging of the room. At present, the main stills, which is the big sort of distilling equipment, are in the middle of the room and essentially right in the sort of public area. The plan is to simply push them back into the sort of distilling area, which will open up that space much more. There's also a large sort of large table which kind of operates as the sort of bar, if you like. The plan is to move that off to the side to again create more space. So the actual public space will simply become much larger because of moving things that are already there, pushing them back, pushing them to the side, which will then allow additional sort of tables to be moved into the public area for additional tables and chairs for customers who are doing the tastings and whatnot. So that's the rationale of how the increase will essentially work. There was a mention of on the original plan that the occupancy was 78 persons. To be clear, the capacity is 45. It's 18 up to 45. Although I think it's noted on the plan that the total capacity in the entire building would be 40. It would be 78. The variation is for a maximum of 45. There is sort of upstairs areas that's off limits. No one will be up there. It's purely increasing the area of the public meeting area. I think there was an issue raised about toilets, toilet provisions. Our understanding is that if occupancy went 50 or above, there would require to be additional toilets. There is two ladies and gents toilets there at the minute, with essentially one sort of cubicle each. As we understand it, that for a 45 occupancy, that is still sufficient. It will only be if it's 50 or above, which is not the plan. There is, as part of the variation, a small outside area which is seeking to be added to the licence. That is marked on the plan as well. I think it's 5 by 10 metres. There was a query about the occupancy of that area. I can confirm that would be 12. However, those 12 people, that would be inclusive in the total figure of 45. So that's not an addition. It's a total 45, whether capped inside or outside. The idea is just essentially an overspill for the good weather. The additional occupancy has no impact on fire escapes or anything like that. So that's an explanation in relation to the additional occupancy. I think that covers all of the questions. If there is any more, we'll be happy to address them. There was a query, I have to say, about the completion certificate for the halfway house. In the licence, there's a halfway house which was converted into sort of residential sort of lets, which is included in the licence. I would say we're still actually looking into that. To be kind of that is really dealt with by another director and is really completely separate. It doesn't actually, it's completely separate from the distillery. So the works were completed. However, we are actually looking into the issue of the completion certificate. We're carrying out investigations with the architect and the builder. So I don't have a sort of finalised update on that day. We'll certainly undertake to liaise with the licence department about that. But what I would say is that certainly my submission really has no impact on the distillery at all. The variation that we're seeking today is purely relates to the distillery. This is a total standalone, separate area across a car park. The other part of course, was the live music. What I would say, we're not proposing Battle of the Bands. It's the thought process. It would be sort of folk singers, acoustic singers, people on the guitars. There may be admittedly some amplification. Bagpipes on Hogmanay or Burns Night, things like that. It's not going to be, as I say, it's not going to be a sort of Battle of the Band situation. So really, yes, I would move the application. The current limit is 18. What the business was finding was that they were getting queries for sort of bus tours who people come over visiting Scotland over at 18, and they were having to be turned away. So the variation would simply allow larger numbers. It's a thriving local business. It provides distillery tours and tastings, providing well, a great local product, but also education into local distilling and whatnot as well. So it would allow additional capacity, also open up the space for sort of corporate corporate meetings and things like that. So that's really the idea behind it. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say in addressing the application and the queries. So I'm just checking my notes. Yeah, so essentially, just to be clear, it's just a rejigging of the room. They're not creating anything additional. It's a rejig which will allow this additional capacity, which will really support a great local business. And yes, I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for the applicant from members? Councillor Whiteside.
Thank you, and thanks for coming along. And obviously, we do like to see ventures that support tourism in Angus. Obviously, we'll have to listen to building standards and the licensing officer in response to some of the comments you made. I'm just curious about in terms of the outdoor. we usually impose outdoor conditions. Are there any near neighbours, or is I know where you are and I can picture it, but I can't remember if there are any near neighbours.
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm one of the directors of Angus. The only accommodation is across the car park from us. That's the ones that we've turned into the holiday lets. Adjoining them is Grizzly Bear Hot Tubs, which is a business. And out with that, the nearest house, I would think, is probably about 300 metres away across the field.
Thank you. So we'll have Councillor Meakin and then Councillor Durno.
Thank you, Convener. It's in relation to the objections from building standards which you've addressed. Can I ask, with the objection, which obviously you're aware of, have you actually discussed that with building standards? So, or is this the first time you're addressing it here?
They're pretty much the first time. I did actually email. I did send an email this morning, but admittedly it was only this morning, so it was very late in the day. So, and the response was to simply address the committee today.
Thank you, Councillor Durno.
That's good, Bina. I'd just like to ask, I mean, because the map is a wee bit difficult to read, obviously, because of the being on screen and whatever. Is the whole idea of this that maybe you would have people come for a meeting and they would taste the distillery, bring their own sandwiches and crisps, etc. Is that, because I noticed there's not really a kitchen or anything, is that kind of like the plan? They just come, have a meeting and bring their own catering? Because I can't, maybe there is a kitchen there, but I can't really see a kitchen on the plan. Is that really what the idea of it is?
I'll just step in there. Unfortunately, Councillor Durno, that's not part of what they're asking for in the licence here, so unfortunately it's not really relevant. So I'll ask that question is disregarded for just now.
Okay, right.
Sorry. Any other questions for the applicant? I see no hands. So in that case, we'll go to objectors. So I have building standards who have put in an objection. So if I can bring them in, please.
Certainly. Thank you, Convener, and good morning, everyone. As of this morning, the three objections still remained. I appreciate the detailed information presented this morning. In response to that, if I can go through the 3 bullet points objections in turn, just to be clear to the board, just for their information. The first one, in terms of the occupancy capacity rising from 18 to 45, in principle, I have no objection to that rise in terms of space standards. So as you've detailed in each space, that is all appropriate and equivalent, that is fine. The issue we do have still is the sanitary facilities. Until just now, I wasn't sure if it was to be 45 or up to the 78, which was noted on the plans. So I can't really confirm here. We do require some time to go and look at the sanitary provision. Without saying too much, I suspect that might still be too high and requires another sanitary provision, such as a toilet and a sink. But we do require time to do that, unfortunately. Secondly, the external numbers, you've confirmed as 12, no problem with that at all, as long as you have also confirmed that that is not in addition to the numbers you've applied for. And the third one is really for your knowledge and for the board's knowledge. The building warrant and lack of completion certificate was also a comment that we put forward on the initial application for the licence, and is still outstanding. So it would be up to the board to decide whether it's relevant or not, but we felt it was objectable. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions from members for building standards? Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener. I'm wondering if the increase in capacity had been somewhere in between the current capacity and what they've asked for, whether that would be acceptable in the interim.
It probably would, yeah. We're not talking talking huge variances here, but it depends on male numbers, female numbers. There's different tables in the regulations depending on the nature of the premises. So a bar requires more toilet provision. This we would treat a bit lighter because it's not used like a bar. So it would be somewhere in between, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for building standards? Councillor Clark.
Thanks. Just back to yourself, really, what you said there, and correct me if I'm not quite understood, because I was finding it quite difficult to hear you speaking quite a lot actually this morning. I got the gist though, because I took notes. But when you said, obviously these extra numbers were not relevant really, because they were not going to make that much difference, and we all agreed that, we could read that. But you spoke about the extra possible toilet would be a deal breaker, if you like. So that's what I've got to think about. You're right, I'm right in you saying that.
Yeah, apologies if I wasn't clear. There's when we look at occupancy capacities, there's two parts essentially. One is that they're not going to be overcrowded in small spaces, and the other part is that there is enough sanitary provision. So the one side, the overcrowding is absolutely fine. We've got no issues. The other side would be the sanitary provision. It's not as clear cut as me just giving a quick answer just now. Had they been in touch with us prior to now, hopefully I could have confirmed that.
Yeah, you've got a wee bit more to think about now. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, we will move to the LSO for comment.
Thank you, Convener. The only thing worth noting in this application is the outdoor drinking and the addition of the outdoor drinking conditions as stated in the Statement of Licensing Policy. Just want to consider adding those. Thank you.
Thank you. So, any comments or questions for Councillor Whiteside?
I just wonder if the applicant might consider reducing the request for the capacity to make it easier to grant a licence today.
Councillor Meehan?
Just to say, one of the options in the recommendations is that we could defer the application to another meeting to allow the applicant to get a bit more communication with building standards to finalise this. To hear on the day is quite difficult, certainly given the professional advice from building standards, which obviously is we will put quite a bit of power on.
Thank you. I would have to agree that it's difficult. We have to bear in mind what's on the application in front of us, and that's what we're deciding, and the variation of that, and then listening obviously to the applicant, building standards, and the LSO, and come to make a decision. That it certainly sounds like it's a bit more complicated when it comes to capacity than just thinking, well, you can fit X amount of people into this room. There's other things that need to be taken into consideration, and I think that perhaps needs quite a bit more thought as well. Councillor Braze.
Yeah, I'm just wondering now, is it an option to do, as Councillor Whiteside suggested, and the applicants reduce the number today, right now, so that it could be? Is that actually an option? I'll have a supplementary.
No, I'll give you another one.
Thanks, Councillor. In a sense, it's really with the applicant to decide what their variation is, but I would also caveat that with the fact that building standards still need the time to even consider that number versus what's proposed on the ground. So even, I may have misunderstood Mrs. Tom, but I think there's time needed regardless of what that number might be, unless it remains at the current capacity, which has already been approved.
As a a supplementary then, would Ms Dunn be able to give a figure of what that capacity had to be to let us move on today?
So at the moment, what I don't want to do is restrict the applicant at all. I really don't want to do that. So at the moment, the top figure would be 20, which is no addition for them. Without going back and taking the time to look at it, anywhere in between is a calculation. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Anything from anyone else? No. In that case, I'll move back to yourselves to give you the opportunity to sum up for your application, should you choose to.
I was going to try and twist Building Stand's arm up to 30 mean time, but I think that question's just been answered. Yeah, but we appreciate the comments. I think our intention would be still would still be looking for the 45 in the long term. So I think given the issues raised, I think probably deferral is the sensible thing, mean time, as opposed to it being determined today. So I would suggest a deferral, and we can liaise on that.
Thank you very much. I invite any motions from Sir Whiteside.
Yeah, given what we've just heard, I propose the application until all the conditions have been agreed.
Be to the next board, which is the 4th of December. Yeah, Councillor Braze.
Yes, I'll second that motion, but I would just comment that there was an opportunity to really deal with this today and have it all done. Not in this meeting, but if certain steps had been taken some time ago, this could have been handled today and granted, and I'm just a bit disappointed that hasn't been the outcome.
Thank you. Any further motions or amendments? No. So are we agreed to defer until the 4th of December?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. We'll see you on the 4th. Okay, thank you everyone. So we will now move on to item 6 on the agenda, which is the personal licences delegated approvals. This is report number LB 4525. Members will have read these. Are they happy to agree those?
Agreed.
Item number 7, occasional licences, delegated approvals. Again, this is report LB 4625. Members again will have seen these. Are we happy to agree to these? Thank you. Item number 8, premises licences, minor variations. These are delegated approvals. Report LB 4725. Same again, we're happy to agree to that. Thank you. And then finally, item number 9, premises licences under the Licensing Scotland Act 2005, licences surrendered. This is report LB 4825. Are we happy to agree to those? Great. That concludes the business for the Licence Board. So I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you.
Ewan, can you stop the